Nice. Hello and welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today. Let me fix this. There we go. There we go. So close. Back today with Fiend Artisan GWB Black Maverick. With a few small changes to the deck list. I did move an Abrupt Decay to the sideboard in place for a main deck Vraska. Vraska's pretty sweet right now. I think the deck's slow enough for her to be main deck. There have been a few 5-0 lists, which is nice, with Vraska in the main deck. The one reason that I really like Vraska is that she's great against the Oko decks. She deals with Oko and sticks around. You're not spending a card to deal just with Oko, so you can kind of keep up with the value that Oko brings to the decks that play it. Same thing with Icefang Quaddle. It's a nice way to deal with Icefang, but also keep it around. And it can win you the game. There has been an emblem win on the stream, which is nice. And then just the +2 is really nice with Mana Dorks, extra lands. You don't have to sack anything, which is really nice as well. You can just tick it up and do nothing. So Vraska seems pretty sweet. We were pretty impressed with Gaea last league, especially against Maverick. There was one game where Gaea took care of like a mum, a noble, and a second mum, like just insane. And then really nice against the Uro decks, the Snapcaster decks. Again, ulti did win us a match, which is nice, but not really why it's there. It's there because it's just such good value. It deals with things like Astrolabe, but still sticks around. So instead of spending a card like Abrupt Decay on Astrolabe, which you never want to do, or a Qasali Pridemage, Gaea just exiles it and sticks around. You can actually get 3 before you even... If you go just down 1 each turn, you can deal with 3 multiple spells, which is really nice. But I think Gaea is super versatile right now, which is nice. Hey, World Greens, well, thanks for coming in. Thank you very much. But yeah, Gaea is super versatile with her neg 1. You can hit Aethervial, Mother of Runes, Noble Hierarch, Delver, Mox Diamond, Chalice, Chrome Mox, Astrolabe, as we said, food tokens, just to keep Oko at bay as well. So Gaea's got a lot of application, which is really nice. And I think the 1-1 split of 2 main deck walkers is pretty good, and it helps you keep up with the value decks like Snowko. So although they're not that great against some of the faster decks of the format, they can help, but they're not really what you're wanting to achieve in regards to your board state against fast combo. Sylvan Safekeeper has been really promising. I really like Sylvan Safekeeper as mum number 4. Sorry. We can find it with Fiend Artisan, and I think a big part of that is that with Fiend Artisan and Green Suns, your opponent has to respond with removal before you actually grab Sylvan Safekeeper, because it comes online as soon as it hits the field. So if your opponent has a Lightning Bolt and you have, a Thalia out, and you Fiend Artisan for 1 and they say yes, and you get Sylvan Safekeeper, that bolt is pretty much dead now, which is really nice. So Safekeeper's been really nice. We have definitely won a game where we got to just sack all our lands to a knight and win with sort of lethal out of nowhere, which is great. Prelate's an interesting one. I think Prelate is pretty good as Thalia number 4. It also acts as mum number 4 as well, because you can name, say, 1 against the Bolt decks, 3 against the Oko and Dead of Winter and Teferi decks, 6 against Terminus, 4 against Supreme Verdict. So Sanctum does have applications for both protection and also disruption, which is really nice. And I think as a one-off target for Fiend Artisan, it's been pretty good. And on the play in this deck, you can get out as early as turn 2, which is great. It's a little bit interesting against Delver, where our main removal is Swords to Plowshares at 1 CMC, and 1 CMC is usually what you want to name against Delver, so that usually comes down to how many swords have we used, is there a Delver on board, if a Delver comes down, do we have another answer to it, like Scryb Ranger. There's a few things we take into consideration, but for the most part, Prelate has been nice. I think Fiend Artisan has been really strong. So I made this switch of just 1 Hate Bear, and then I also took out a Green Sun Zenith, because Fiend Artisan kind of takes the same slot, and I don't want to have too many tutors in the deck, but not enough action. So I think going down to 3 Zenith is fine. It's just one of those cuts, which is kind of awkward. It's kind of like cutting your 4th Flicker Wisp in D&T. It's just something you don't really want to do, but I think in this, it makes sense. And, Fiend has just been phenomenal, not just as a tutor, but also as a late game threat. For getting +1/+1 for each creature in your graveyard has been pretty sweet, so that should be pretty cool. I still like Deafening Silence's Chalice. I like the 5 kind of slots for combo. All of these can come down turn 1. Chalice here mainly for 0 against the decks that play free mana. So that's been really good. Surgical is okay. You can find a pretty good article in the Green Sun Zenith about different types of graveyard hate and when you should be using different types, like Surgical versus Leyline versus Ferromacabre, versus Nihil Spellbomb versus Lantern, which we have been playing, but I dropped it for this league just to fit some more stuff in. Kai is also super good in the main deck and sideboard for graveyard hate, and just for, against some of the decks that have low CMC curves. Force of Vigor is in the deck because I was playing Knight of Autumn, which is great in this deck. It's a creature that adds pressure. It's versatile. It can be found with Green Sun Zenith and Fiend Artisan, but I really wanted some interaction on the turns 1 to 0 to 2, and Force of Vigor is just what I wanted, because we were losing a lot of games where our opponent just went turn 1 Blood Moon, or turn 1, turn 2 Painter combo, where I really wanted that Force of Vigor. And I think there's a lot of decks now where you can get a pretty good 2 for 2. So of course with Force you're losing a card, but you can hit, Mox Diamond and Sylvan Library. You can hit Exploration and Mox Diamond. You can maybe take out an Astrolabe, which isn't the greatest because they've already drawn a card off it, and a food token or something if they're going to turn it into a 3/3. So Force has been pretty strong. Armageddon is here. I'm just sick of Snow. I am really sick of Snow. I think that Snow is a really good mid-range deck, and it's obviously better than Maverick at mid-range, which sucks because that's what Maverick's all about. It's about that mid-game plan. And it's so hard to deal with, especially when we're a great Wasteland deck, but Wasteland, of course, doesn't do a whole lot. So I thought I'd go one step above, play Armageddon, which isn't too bad because we have Ramanap in the board as well to bring in. So Armageddon should be pretty fun. It's a great way to deal with Snowlands, so we'll see how this go. Hey FP, welcome. And then Thrun's an interesting one. So I think Thrun on paper looks like the worst of the 3 big 4-drops in Questing Beast, Shifting Ceratops, and then Thrun. It kind of seems a little bit old school. To be fair, it looks pretty vanilla as well compared to the other ones, but Questing Beast is fine. It can be countered, which is pretty huge, and that's where you kind of go to Shifting Ceratops, which also has Pro Blue, so it can't be O-Code, it can't be blocked by Ice Fang, Baleful Strix, it can't be countered, which is huge, and it can come down with haste, which is really good. But the amount of times we've been playing Shifting Ceratops, and they've had Swords to Plowshares, or they've had, Dreadhorde Arcanus with a Bolt, the Shifting Ceratops just hasn't done much. So I thought I would at least try out Thrun and see how it goes. It's still pretty good. It's very hard to deal with. Council's Judgment isn't really in the setup now. We don't really see that too often. Sorry, and because it's legendary, we can actually save it with Karakas. So something like Dead of Winter might not be able to stop it entirely, which is kind of cool. So Thrun's going to be interesting. This might just be a stream where we actually, come to the conclusion that, hey, Thrun actually isn't as good as the other 2, but I think it's definitely worth testing to see how we go with it. The regen is really good as well, especially against Iceman Quaddle. And then just for extra removal, we have a second Plague Agent in the board and an Abrupt Decay. So I did have 2 Abrupt Decays in the main deck, but I'm wanting to try out Vraska just because of the value you get off Vraska, being able to, maybe kill an Oko and then stick around. That's the big aim for this sort of change, to get a bit more value and hopefully grind a little bit better than some of the other decks. But yeah, FP, very well. It is currently 11-10. We will enter a league and see how we go. The other slight change was I have been facing a lot of Plague Engineers, and against Maverick, Human is 99% of the time what they go for, so I've gone down to 3 Hierarchs and up to 2 Birds, just to try that out. Also a little bit better against Delver if we do need to buy some time by just blocking in the air, which isn't the greatest position, but it's definitely something to bring up because there have been a number of games where having an extra fly just for 1 turn has kind of allowed us to shift into the turn where that we needed to take over the board. So we'll see how this goes. Hey Mark, welcome. Hope you're well. We are playing a Legacy League. We are playing with play points. Green White Black Maverick, nice. Play League, nice. There we go. Very cool. Hey Lynn, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Currently playing Chalice in our sideboard, so I might be able to get some of those off, which would be pretty cool. So the list is changed a little bit from the last 2 leagues. We went 3-2, 3-2. I believe, let me quickly have a look at my Twitter. So on Wednesday night, we got up against the Mirror, pretty much, Infect and Ant, and we went down to 5-color Snowko and Cephalid Breakfast. And then on last stream, we went 3-2, and we got up against Punishing Eldrazi, Green Black Depths, and Omnitel, and we lost to Rug Control. It was like Rug Delver, but it had a lot of basics, and Mono Red Painter. Painter was crazy. They went turn 1 Khan, turn 2 combo off, which is pretty insane. How much do I test off stream? Not as much as I wish I did. I wish I had a lot more time to test, but unfortunately, it's really just the 2 streams that I get a week. Yeah, not bad. It's always nice to 3-2 when you're trialing out some stuff, just to keep your head above water. But I think, you know, those 4-1s and 5-0s are not too far off. It's just little things. There's actually a really big play that I'll have to show you in between games from last stream that was actually something that I didn't think about, but I looked at it and really thought that it was correct. We'll keep this. I do have a full-time job. It's tough as well because I like to definitely put out content as well for the Green Sun Zenith. Currently doing a piece on Gadotig and kind of why it isn't seeing play compared to when it was. But yeah, I would like to start streaming 3 times a week. And I think with that, I'll do Mondays is Green White Maverick. Thursdays is Green White Black Maverick. And then a weekend stream is a different type of Maverick or a donation list. I think that would be pretty good. But it's always tough, especially with I would love to start doing like sideboard guides and like, you know, if someone wants to start playing the deck, I want to have something for them in regards to what they should do for each matchup. But it's so hard with Maverick where there's Green White Maverick, there's Green White Black Maverick, there's Green White Red Maverick, there's Band Maverick, there's 5 full color Maverick. There's just so many different versions that it kind of feels like for all the content that I do, I have to do it multiple times, or at least touch on those decks each time, which is a process, but it's not too bad. Oh, 80 card opponent, interesting. Okay, they're playing Yorion. Very cool. Okay. 80 cards. So we're definitely playing against an Icewind Quaddle deck. Astrolabe, of course. So I think Vraska's going to be pretty sweet here if we can get it out. Alright. Oh, Questing Beast is cool. Gonna play Wasteland, and I'm just gonna go with these 2. And pass. Renegade Rallier has actually been really nice, especially on the turns where you want to Wasteland your opponent, but you don't have the ability to like tap out for it. It's kind of cool. Hey Ramo, welcome. Hope you're well. Got a nice coffee for you. He's probably playing Gorgia. Gorgia. What is Gorgia? Yeah, I think Questing Beast first is great because it's a 3-turn clock pretty much if they fetch once more. It doesn't play around Swords to Plowshares, but I think that's okay. I'd rather it get forced or swords than the Vraska just get forced. World Gorger and Animate Dead. Interesting. I have seen that list pop up, and it's really annoying because I'm never too sure how far in they're just going to go for the combo instead of anything else. Swords to Plowshares. So one application of Wasteland against some of the snow decks is Wastelanding fetches in response to Brainstorm to stop them from getting the shuffle. But I think that's probably too aggressive, seeing that we didn't draw a land this turn. So yeah, let's just go for Questing Beast and hold up Swords. There's probably not a good reason why I want to hold up Swords. I'd probably rather hold up the Wasteland. So there's the Brainstorm. So this is interesting. It's an 80 card deck. I assume they're playing at least 8 fetches. They've already used 1. They probably don't have another shuffle effect other than the fetch lands in the deck. I can't think of one. Force on shuffle if they put it on top. Yeah, they could still be playing Terminus, which is rough, which... I guess if that's the point, then they could just fetch up a Tundra and then untap. The issue as well is Astrolabe. If they put on top and then pass and we Wasteland the Misty, they could let it slide and then just create white with the Astrolabe for Terminus. It is such little value, yeah, which is rough, and I don't think it's where I can be. Yeah, interesting if they're going to Swords here. Why they went with allowing us to gain the extra 2 from Exalted. Oh, black. Fatal Push? Okay, that makes sense. Okay. I guess now we just have to kind of make sure they don't have Dead of Winter. Dead of Winter would be pretty devastating here. We rely so much on our creatures for mana this game. Yep. I guess fetch land into Renegade Rallier wouldn't be too bad here. Okay. Well, I'll just keep calling it. But then it's a case of what do I want to get back? And I think I just want to get back a land rather than an actual mana producing creature. Just going to go for Savannah. I'm not going to play around anything like Back to Basics. Yeah, the fetch is just so much better. It's so much harder for them to interact with as well. I'm actually just 5 here, in case they do have a creature. They're missing like a land drop, they might Abundant Growth, okay. Yeah, Back to Basics is pretty rough. Oh, they're playing Entomb, okay. Well, we do have the sword for World Gorger, if that's what they're going for. Grizzlebrand, okay. This must be Animate Dead. Yeah. Oh, Dance of the Dead, interesting. That gives it haste, right? I think? Oh, it just comes in tapped. Okay. Well, I guess we can Swords here, Force check, and then untap and Vraska the Dance of the Dead, so... not too bad. Yeah, these snow decks are pretty nice. Too much text? Mark, I am with you 100%. That is way too much text. What are we going to get? I think it's just a scrub land. Just in case we need like a second black source. So we can go for the swords. I probably should have done this end of... oh no, because they still go to clean up, so they still have to discard after this. Hey, Adrian, welcome. Alright, there's the Force. I guess Karakas would be pretty nice if we draw that, because then we have Vraska and Karakas. I'm gonna play this. I 100% don't. I 99.9% believe my opponent isn't playing Daze, but there's always that one-off case. Black, green. They could go down to 1, but then we just win. So they can't actually draw here off the Grizzle. They need to have another Force in hand. Okay. Destroy this. Alright. Esper Vial is really sweet. I think Esper Vial is a great deck if you really want to sink some time into a deck. and come out with a really powerful deck. I have it in paper. I don't have the Gilded Drakes, unfortunately, but it's a really fun deck to play, and there's so many lines, which is pretty sweet. The flicker effects definitely get my attention. Ugh. Are they just going for World Gorger? Uro. Interesting. Uro's pretty good. You have an Esper Vial deck in Modern? That's cool. Can you share a list? Is that alright? I've never heard of Esper Vial in Modern. Alright. Damn, this deck is so good. Turn 1 Astro. Turn 2 Brainstorm. Yeah. Fatal Push. Turn 3 Dead of Winter. Turn 4 Grizzlebrand. Turn 5 Uro. Come on now. Come on. There's a line here. All of basics as well. It is pretty hard to come back. I think it's just because their life loss is so little that I'm... Well, okay, well, there's swords, which is interesting. What do I want to do first? Float or white? Sack Savannah. Green Suns. Okay, that's interesting. Could Green Suns for Knight? Could Green Suns for Fiend Artisan? Fiend's pretty cool. Ooze or Knight? Yeah. Ooze is pretty good as well. I don't mind Ooze because it stops any sort of shenanigans here, like Snapcaster Mage. But I guess if I was going for Ooze, I should have got rid of the Scrubland and not the Savannah, just to have that extra piece of interaction. Nice set. Okay. Force in hand. Another Astrolabe's fine. This is where Icefang Quaddle just kind of sucks. So I hope they kind of tap out off 2 mana so we can just play around Icefang in our turn. But otherwise it's pretty rough. Yep, can't really play around that. Alright. I guess we just get Dryad Arbor here. Ooh. Alright. Attack Narset, attack them. Need black. We know they have force. But if they force this, then we're looking pretty good, because it means they probably don't have some sort of sweeper. Okay. Do I want to... I don't think Dryad Arbor is better than... Is Dryad Arbor better than a random card? Probably. I guess the Wasteland isn't doing too much. Wasteland's really for my benefit for getting like a bigger green suns. It's not so much for disrupting my opponent's mana. Ugh. Vraska is pretty nice. I just really like that she deals with threats without leaving the board, so you're not down a card. That's the big appeal of Vraska, especially against Oko. Vraska is the best black answer to Oko because you answer it and then you also keep it around for extra value. Yori on draw 3? Yikes. It's not easy. It's definitely easier with mana dorks. Yeah, it's just a case of trying to keep up with their value, which I don't think Maverick, you just can't. You can try all day, but you're never going to keep up with the value that snow decks offer. But it's definitely done enough for me to keep it in the 75, which is pretty good. Swords. I probably should have... it doesn't really matter. It's okay. The question is, do I Wasteland here? But I think the Wasteland is doing a lot more for me at 4 mana than it is for my opponent. I think I should be more aggressive with my Vraskas and actually sacking this Wasteland. It's just tough. There's Gojo. Alright. I believe that's just it. I haven't played against World Gorger in a little while, so I do want to see what comes up. They did exile a stroke to a force, so I'm not too sure what the other win condition is. Maybe they have 2 strokes. Like, I don't think, like, Walking Ballista's in there. I guess we'll see. Please be Rocket Launcher. I'm not sure what Rocket Launcher is, and now I'm really excited to see what it is. Is Green Suns is not instant, and I assume, like, it's just another stroke here. I should actually probably Wasteland this Underground Sea to stop them from getting it back. That's something that I should have done at the very start. There we go. my little that's all I'm doing. That's it. I've had my time. Oh, they targeted my land? That's pretty cool. And they still draw a card, I believe. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I am actually 51% Dukes on Twitch, 49% Wing Zero of NC. I am with you. Yeah, maybe he can set up a win the following turn by just having a bunch of creatures. Oh, Teferi? Interesting. Leovold, cool. Draw a card, then discard a card. Target creature you don't control phases out. Take 2 extra turns after this one. Okay, and there's Oko. Snap. Opponent is having fun, which is what Legacy is all about. Let's be honest. Drown in the Loch. New Teferi. Cool to see some new cards make it in. M21, of course, not having as many cards for Legacy as, say, M20, but still very cool. Oh, my questing beast? Come on now. That's out of order. That is out of order. Alright. Are they gonna attack my Vraska? Rough. Oh. Yeah, real rude. I guess Karakas is probably my best draw. There's not too much else that we can draw into. I'm definitely taking out the Grizzlebrand. Windswept. Draw Terminus. Yeah, they attacked me, which is interesting. They attacked Vraska, which is interesting. They obviously just didn't understand what Questing Beast does. 2, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13. Okay, they're getting pretty close. And then 15, so it takes 2 more draw steps, I believe. But at least we're seeing a lot of the deck. It'll be interesting to see how much they actually side out the combo and just go full mid-range control. Yeah, we were pretty lazy to read Dance of the Dead. That's fair. We didn't read Dance of the Dead. They didn't read Questing Beast. It's all good. Oh, they play Eternal Witness. Okay, interesting. Get back Grizzlebrand. Are they going to hardcast it? No, they can't. Surely not. 4/5, yeah. Ooh. I can't use that in my turn, unfortunately, because of the Leovold. Alright, we are going to a game 2. So this is going to be pretty tough. This deck has a lot of value. I do like Armageddon. I do like the Gaea. I do like the Engineer. The Decay is interesting. A lot of their, like, it does hit a lot of their Planeswalkers as well, which is nice. The run's pretty good. Thalia, I can probably ditch at least one. Swords is interesting. Swords is pretty good against Uro, but if I'm hitting Uro with Graveyard Hate, then I kind of don't really care. Surgical's interesting, but I don't think they're going to be on the combo plan so much. I still like Questing Beast because it gets through so many of their blockers. Plague Engineer is also quite nice. I might even go down on a Swords to Plowshares because of the Plague Engineers. Kai is nice. Knight's interesting. Knight actually might just be not where I want to be as a 4-of. Knight's pretty rough because I don't want to attack into a blind Ice Fang and I can't really disrupt their mana. I can find Karakas, but so maybe that's enough to keep it in. Trim some Dorks. Yeah, I do like that actually. Especially because of Dead of Winter. I could probably even go down to one of each. I do want Ramen if I'm playing Armageddon. Blast Zone's interesting. I think Blast Zone's okay because it can deal with all their Astrolabes and Abundant Growths. Ouphe is interesting. Ouphe is worth it if they really rely on their Astrolabes. It's just Labe, yeah. But yeah, the rough thing is that sometimes with Ouphe, you can shut off the Astrolabes, but if they have Ice Fang mana up, it's just so hard to attack into it. Killing those is more relevant. Yeah, that's fair enough as well. Maybe Force of Vigor's worth it then. Because Force also hits Animate Dead or the Dead of Winter in case they are playing it. And if not, we can go after their mana and Astrolabes. Yeah, I think Force is nice because it just in case they are playing the combo still. I'm just gonna trim. Probably just a Mum. Mum's in a rough spot. Dead of Winter's just so good that they can just ignore Mum until they draw into Dead of Winter. Would love to play first. And this hand is fine. Turn 1 Mum, turn 2 Scryb Ranger. I can get a Bayou so that turn 3 we can definitely have Kaya mana online if Scryb Ranger sticks. So I'm going to keep this. Opponent also kept 7. I'm going to attack because we have the Scryb Ranger. If the Scryb Ranger gets countered, then we're in pretty big shit, but we'll see what happens here. They might not even go for it. They might not even have anything. They're going to fetch. Was this going to be a Drown in the Lock? Interesting. I think it is a Drown in the Lock, and I think they got us. I think they can hit this, this Mum. Oh, they're going to force this. Interesting. I wouldn't mind that. Because now this Kai is probably going to stick. Unless they just want to drown it. They're going to drown it. Okay. Oh, drown the Mum. Huh. Cradle. I think Knight's just the best play here. Especially if it's going to force anything. I'd rather them not force the Gaea. If they're getting rid of an Ice Fang, that's quite nice as well, because they're not drawing the extra card off it. Leo's pretty good. Prelate. I'm going to play the Cradle in case we draw into a land next turn. Spellbomb's okay. It's got Pro Blue, which is nice, so we can just protect this Gaea. Looks like they don't have Fatal Push. Get Yorion, okay. Well, now they can't draw a card off the Spell Bomb, which is nice. They draw a card off the Leovold, of course. Idiot. Come on. That's just loose play. What do I want to name? I think it's going to be a Snake. And then 2 mana we can cast this Fiend Artisan. Okay. And we kind of know the next turn their play is just tap out for Yorion. Unless it's something else. Probably taking out the Scryb Ranger here. Fiend, okay. Nightmare. Alright. Safekeeper. Safekeeper's interesting. Double white is really hurting us right now. Untap Scryb now, play the land, and pass back. It's just tough because they can even reset the Plague Engineer with Yorion if they find a 5th land. They have 5 cards in hand, surely they have it. Liliana's Triumph. Huh. I think it's just the Sylvan Safekeeper we drop here. Because the Scryb Ranger keeps the Leovold away and the Plague Engineer keeps the Plague Engineer at bay. It's just one of those awkward matches where we had a pretty good hand for like an Astrolabe start, but otherwise we're not doing much. Oh, Vraska. Interesting. Definitely attack first. Tick up on these two. Make this lethal. 2, 3, 4. Vraska. And I might just take care of the Leovold here. It's interesting, but they do draw a card, but I think that's okay. I kind of want to win with this Gaea, because they currently have 7 cards in exile. Yeah, I think I just have to let them allow them to draw a card here. Veil? Rough. They brought in Veil? Fucking hell. Draw 2 cards off Veil. Leo was never banned in Legacy. Leo actually had a pretty hard time finding a deck after kind of like 4-color Delver, and then it's definitely come back as of recent. It's like snap fatal push? No, okay. Yeah, that's a great point. It was pretty hard to meet the mana requirements of it. I'm going to swing with both. Even if the... Okay, so they're both attacking Vraska. So there's no real point in stopping one. That's interesting. Do they have an out to the Gaea? Surely. They have to. Unless it's just Yorion? Are they gonna tab out for Yorion here? Do they not have an out to the Gaea? Gaea's ulti's at 5, right? And they have 7 cards in the graveyard? In exile? This is where you can get little trumps of where your opponent might just not be used to a card. Don't call me Shirley, yeah, but I'm pretty sure this is just a win for us. It's happening again. Yeah, people just don't understand Gaea. Please. They get to draw a card off Leo, but then they take 7? Oh my gosh. This is an interesting one. I think that Force is kind of... In that matchup, Force is just dead. I don't... It looks like they've gone towards the grind to win. So maybe the extra swords is worth it, especially if they're playing Plague Engineer as well. Yeah, so... It just sucks, because like that wasn't a game that we should have won. I don't... To be fair, if they're playing cards like Plague Engineer and Leo, maybe some of those are out of the board and they're less likely to Dead of Winter the board, so maybe Mum isn't that bad. I guess Mum is pretty bad against Dark Plague. That's why. Yeah. It might just be another bird. I don't mind the bird. If they want to name bird with... If they want to spend a removal spell on the bird, I'm not too unhappy about that. If they want to name it with Plague Engineer, I'm more than fine. But if I do get the chance to have a, you know, extra percentage of having a mana dork in my opening hand, I really want it, especially on the draw where I'm already behind. Yeah, that's fair enough. It just definitely, it didn't feel like a true win, but I guess, you know, we put cards on the board that could win and our opponent didn't see them, so congratulations, Dougal. Yeah, this is okay. I was really scared of where they went Fatal Push on Plague Engineer to go Snapcaster Fatal Push, but maybe they're not playing that. This sadly is a rough hand, and in hindsight, I think dropping a Wasteland against Snow is great. Is a lot better than, you know, Wasteland's probably a lot worse than any one of these cards, so that's pretty rough. I don't think we can keep this. The Wastelands are pretty much vanilla lands right now. Okay, this is fine. I'm gonna drop the Questing Beast and keep the Thrun. He has 5 minutes to kill. Yeah, it's a pretty grindy deck, so we'll see what happens. We'll keep this, and I'm gonna bottom the Questing Beast. Probably just getting a Savannah off this Windswept Heath. But I don't want to fetch yet because I want to draw a land. Haha, not the land that I want, but the land that we will take. We're getting a Savannah. Thalia is nice because they have to have a removal spell or else they can't cast Oko on their turn. So luckily for us, there is no Oko. Plague's pretty good. Also turns off Cradle, which is nice for them. To be fair, I could have kept the swords and just gone Green Suns for Bird, which might have been correct. That might haunt me. Definitely made use of our mana better. And also turned on the Cradle. Oko's pretty good. I'm gonna waste them. Then hopefully get this Thrun down and just kind of hold the board for a little bit. But it's gonna be tough. Yeah, I don't think I can. I think we've just, we haven't really drawn the side of the deck that we want. Especially Cradle. Cradle's even a card that you could side out against this deck because you get so punished for going wide. Rough. That's it. Rough. But sadly, that kind of is the matchup in a nutshell. Just the amount of value they have, and if you stumble, you're not going to be able to come back, which is pretty tough. But that is fine. We have 4 more games to hopefully get up. Yeah, I think dropping a land is definitely correct. Even though so many of the creatures that we take out just get hit by Plague Engineer, there has to be something better. It's just tough. It's just a matchup that you can't put too much time into. Definitely want to. I mean, it's such a big part of the metagame. And the rough part is that if they stumble a little bit, Thalia is just so good. But of course, if they hit Plague Engineer or Dead of Winter, then it doesn't feel as great. But yeah. Could even play some cards to play around Plague Engineer, but there's not too many good ones. I'm not a big fan of like playing Honor of the Pure, but even something like Wiltleaf Liege just gets OHKO'd. Yeah, it's rough, but you know, we got pretty close, so the game 2 was pretty sweet. We have a match. The Inner Timus. I don't think I can keep this. We don't have white mana, which is rough. We do have a Fiend Artisan, but turn 1 we're going Zenith for Arbor. Turn 2 we can go Scryb Ranger, Cradle, Fiend Artisan. Interesting. Turn 1 Dryad Arbor. Turn 2 return the Bayou. Oh, play Scryb Ranger. Return the Bayou, untap. We don't even have to untap. You love your mum. I think just because Cradle's one of the cards, if we lose the Dryad Arbor, this hand just goes to shit. So I'm gonna mulligan this. There are better hands, and this just isn't it. Come on, guys. Come on. Come on. Deal me one. Deal me one. This Cradle's gonna give me nightmares. Alright. We will mulligan. Alright, we'll keep this. We'll put back the 2. Put back a Bayou and a sword. This is fine. Okay. Just hope it's not like burn. Island Ponder. Okay. What do they do with the Ponder? Show game log. Chose not to shuffle. Okay. Another Fiend. I think just going for Dryad Arbor here is fine. Then we have turn 2 Fiend plus Sword. Alright. Flooded Strand. Huh. Volk. Swift Spear, okay. Interesting. So this is kind of like a fast deck. Probably blue... just blue-red Delver? I think I'm happy just to throw away a Fiend, because if this Fiend doesn't resolve, it pumps the other Fiend and also skews in the late game. I don't think I want to sword the Swift Spear just yet, because I want to give it a little bit more time to see a Delver. Because Delver's the card that I'm really scared of, because we don't have a current way to really deal with it. Brainstorm, okay. Interesting. Brainstorm. Yeah, this looks like one of the older blue-red Delver lists. Swift Spear, Delver. It might be running like Sprite Dragon. Card's pretty good. Pretty good. Wasteland. Please don't go after white. Oh, okay. It always feels pretty bad as well when Maverick gets taken out by Wasteland, especially if they have another one. I don't even want to look. Yep. Hey Rain, welcome. Hope you're doing well. We have some draw steps. It's not game over yet, which is nice. Maverick has a bit of fight in it, and I definitely believe that we can come back, but it's gonna be tough. Oh, Dread Horde. Yikes. At least we can see most of their deck. What do they do with it? Preordain is 2 cards on top. Ugh. Alright. Let's just start. I guess at least the Fiend Artisan's getting bigger, so it'll be a 4/4 if it gets down, which is kind of nice. Probably just preordaining here, maybe pondering. Probably pondering, you get to see, yeah, deeper. Hey, Mr. Lee, a huge thank you for the raid. Welcome all from Mr. Lee's channel. We're currently up against Blue Red Delver and getting hammered pretty hard. Young Pyromancer is going to be pretty good here as well. Got Wastelanded early on, which is pretty rough. Days. Yeah, I'd rather just not see anymore, unfortunately. G'day. Hope you're doing well. So this is going to be interesting. Decay is definitely nice. Thrun's nice. Engineer's nice, especially against Young Pyromancer and Dreadhorde Arcanist. Kaya's nice. Qasali can come out. Collector Ouphe can come out. Safekeeper is probably not where I want to be either. Vraska might just be a little bit too slow as well. Hey, thank you very much. I hope you're doing well. So that's pretty clean. I don't think I want the chalices because of Swords to Plowshares just being so good for us. We're probably just going to be chalicing on one anyway. I think this is fine. The Ramanap's interesting as well. Maybe Ramanap's better than the Fiend. Oh, Fiend's just so good though. Fiend's really nice in this matchup because if it can get above bolt range, then we're doing pretty well. I think it might just actually be a Thalia because we're actually on the play, so... I'm going to drop the library. I don't think we can be too aggressive with the library. Which is pretty rough. But Lee, if you're still there, what did you just come from? What did you play yourself? This sounds pretty good. I'll keep this. Mono, you possessed Portal Prison. Okay, you're gonna have to tell me about that one because Hidden Walkers. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's a sweet new card. I do like that card. Chain's fine. I really want a Wasteland here. Just once. Just once. Not as bad. Karakas is probably the card that I least care about, so I'm going to play that. And then play Bird. Mono Portal. Ah, thank you for the deck list. Another bolt. All right. Delver. It's not refined by having fun. Yeah, it's fair enough. I think that's the best part of Magic. Creating a deck list and then just building it out to try to find a pretty good finish to it. Days. All right. Doesn't flip. Okay. Young P. Okay. Ooh, if we could do a Plague Engineer, that'd be really nice, because these are both humans. Surgical on... Is it Green Suns? Wow, that's aggressive. They hit it. I don't know why you bring in Surgical. I guess it gives us more of a chance to draw into Plague Engineer at least. Opponent knows who you are. Yeah, I don't know about that. Sadly, I'm just some guy. But this is rough unless we find some good piece of interaction here. It's gonna be hard to keep up with this because the Delver is most likely gonna flip next turn. Classic. They have 2 cards left. They have 2 cards left. Nice. Thank you. Thank you. A little bit. Dreadhord's pretty good though. Might as well attack with it because it's definitely dying. Pretty good. Yeah, sadly not, if you look at the scheme of things. It was nice to get lucky, but this matchup is definitely not going the way that I thought it would. Just magic sometimes. At least we can cast anything we draw into. That's always a plus. Surgical Plague Engineer, perhaps? Okay. I think Thrun is probably just our best draw. It could be Knight of the Reliquary, but it would only be a 4/4, which dies to the Lightning Bolt. Because of Dreadhorde flashing it back and dealing 6. Alright, here we go. Rough. 1, yeah. Well, hey, in the meantime, if you guys want to check out some more Legacy action, you can find me on YouTube at YouTube/Toogs on Twitch. You can find, of course, everything Green Sun Zenith related at thegreensunzenith.com. I think we have one more turn, but then it's looking pretty bad. Blaststone doesn't do it. Knight doesn't really do it. We are just dead to Bolt as well. Rough. Just not the greatest game there, but you know that's definitely an issue that you run into when you have a deck with no Brainstorms or Ponders or Preordains. You are just kind of a victim to the top of your deck, and if it is 4 lands in a row, you got to draw 4 lands in a row. So draw lands like a champ. The Butler did it. This hand is okay. The Dryad Arbor is a little bit rough, but we can go turn 1 Mum, turn 2 Arbor, and then turn 3 Knight, so I'll keep this. It's going to get a Savannah off this Windswept Heath. It means that if the mum dies, we can draw into like a Noble Hierarch and still cast it, or a Green Suns or a Bird. Sometimes going for basics early on can muddle you up if you do draw into some of your early spells that you just can't cast. Opponent on 6. Snow-covered island preordain. Interesting. One top, one bottom. Huh. Is there a reason why I wouldn't play the Dryad Arbor here? I think Dryad Arbor is fine, just to make sure that if we don't draw into another land, we can cast the Vraska on turn 4, even if the Knight doesn't survive, because the Knight also ramps us a little bit. But I think it's still just correct to play the Dryad Arbor instead of the Forest, because then at least we're not doing anything this turn, and it means that it's online next turn when we cast the Knight. So I don't mind Dryad Arbor here. Yeah, it could be a few decks, unfortunately. Pluto Delta into Snow-Covered Island Preordain is a pretty good mixture that doesn't really tell us too much. Duress is pretty good. It definitely seems like a combo deck, which this hand is just not ready for. Which maybe I should be attacking with my mum. It was definitely incorrect there as well to play the Forest over the Verdant. I guess if we're up against a Tendrils deck, the extra 1 life does matter. But against a Dead of Winter deck, not having the extra land in the graveyard means Knight is a 3/3, so Snow-Covered Land into Dead of Winter just kills everything. But I'm going to put them on combo, so I'm going to attack here, because I don't think they have an out to the Knight in the main deck. Duress is an interesting one. I think if they were like a Delver deck, it would probably be Thoughtseize in the main deck, or maybe Inquisition. I think we really need to see this Ponder Shuffle to buy some time. Chose not to shuffle. Okay, that's kind of scary. Yeah, there's Petal. Crack LED. Probably just Past in Flames here. Storm count 5. 5, yeah. Oh, add Nors. Okay. Ah, Ritual LED. Come on. I guess they have to hit a tutor. Oh, there's Past. That's pretty much it. Which is pretty rough, because I guess like the extra attacks from my creatures, if I knew this was going to be combo early on, it might have added up, but that's fine. Yeah, Peer into the Abyss is very cool, and seeing play, which is nice. So here I do like the Deafening Silences, the Chalices. The Plague is interesting, because if they're going for Empty the Warrens, I don't mind having the extra Plague in the deck. I don't think Surgical is warranted, but I might look at what we're taking out. Tendrils. So yeah, just a bit too fair. Definitely a different game if we have, you know, like maybe Thalia or Collector Ouphe at the start, but just didn't line up. So swords we can definitely take out. I kind of like Fiend because we can find Prelate and Engineer. Vraska's too slow. I'm not a big fan of Questing Beast. I'm not a fan of the Blast Zone. I am a fan of Chalice. I am a fan of Deafening Silence. I am a fan of the extra Plague Engineer. But it's interesting. Surgical's a lot better if you're playing black with Hand Disruption. This does interact with their Past in Flames lines. But I'm not too sure how much they go for Past in Flame post board. I guess we could do something like this. I just don't want to lose to empty, and that's why I like bringing in the second engineer. This is 60. Rallier is interesting. Rallier might just be not where I want to be. A lot of their removal is going to be bounce, or destroy in my turn, go off in theirs. Force of Vigor is actually an interesting one because a lot of Ant players will preemptively play out their free spells to play around Thalia. So you can force a Lotus Petal or a Lion's Eye Diamond when your opponent doesn't want it to be hit, which is pretty nice. So I don't mind having it just in case. I think everything else has its place. A little thing is that if your opponent's on Massacre and you have out like Savannah or Scrubland, you can play around it with Sylvan Safekeeper because you can sack the plains on your side of the field to then turn off a free Massacre, which is pretty cool. And I think Sylvan Safekeeper is pretty nice in this deck because if we land a Collector Ouphe or a Prelate, then we can protect it pretty well with Safekeeper. But I think this is fine. Yeah. Force is a meh, but we'll see if it's better than anything else here. Let's play first. It sounds pretty nice. Turn 1, Chalice for 0. Turn 2, Thalia. I don't want to keep the Chalice around for Chalice for 1 in case of a duress. And also just a turn 1 win. So I'm going to keep this. Verdant, Chalice, pass. Brainstorm. Interesting. Brainstorm is really interesting, especially when Chalice is on 0. It's like Brainstorm pass. Interesting. I wonder why you would do that there and not in my end step, where you have more knowledge about what I actually cast on turn 2. I think just because I don't want to draw Dryad Arbor, I'm going to get Dryad Arbor right here. Doesn't change my mana, which is nice. Verdant. Fed straight away. Underground Sea. Massacre. Alright. Well, there it is. Maybe that's a reason not to go for Dryad Arbor early on. Pretty good reason too. Because now we'd have the Knight online, which next turn could Wasteland if we get another turn. Oh wow, they just want the Storm? Or do they preemptively cast that thinking it would resolve? I assume they just cast that because they want the Storm. No, okay. Maybe they want to fill their graveyard. Ooh. I think we just go for Wasteland, fetch. Savannah. The question is, do I want to play around Abrupt Decay or like Echoing Truth on the night? Because if I attack with the Mum, it opens up Night being bounced, but it means the Chalice isn't getting bounced. But I believe if they had a bounce spell, they would have bounced the Chalice first anyway. So is the 1 life... I think the protection is worth more than the 1 damage being dealt to my opponent by Mum. I'd rather just make sure that if we do get another turn, I can double Wasteland my opponent. Brainstorm's always scary out of Storm, because it means they either are pretty close to it and they need like 1 extra card to go off, or they have a fetch land. And it looks like here they don't have a fetch land. So it might just mean we're dead. Alright, just going for Storm. Interesting. I don't believe they played a land yet, which is kind of scary. So they can still ritual off. Yeah. Ritual, Cabal Ritual, and there's LED. So they can pass in flames. Yeah, there's Tutor. Rough. Just way too slow. Maybe if we didn't get Dryad Arbor, we'd have an extra turn with be able to Wasteland our opponent, but didn't happen. Just way too fair, unfortunately. They can piff off the LED, I believe. Oh, but they can't off the Chalice. Yeah, okay, that's fair. So they have to keep going. And they can't make blue mana either, because they need to use like an Underground Sea for the black mana for their rituals. So yeah, lucky for us. What are they going to try to do? And this sucks because, again, this is another position where like that 1 damage from Mum actually came up. And we even talked about it. Okay. Classic. I think because of the Chalices as well, I'm going to go up and Force of Vigor because my opponent is hopefully going to play out a few more creatures early on. A few more of their free mana. They were playing Massacre, which is interesting. It might just be something like Cradle. Yeah, I don't mind this. Yep. Oof. I don't think I can keep this. As much as it has, you know, a turn 1 Deafening Silence, it doesn't really do anything else unless we draw a land. And then it's still pretty bad. Like, we're not playing a turn 2 Thalia, we're playing a Sylvan Library, which isn't the greatest. I'd much rather have more interaction than just the Deafening Silence. Especially against a deck with most likely Thoughtseize and Duress on the play. This is... I'll keep this. Okay. I'm going to put back... I'm going to put back a Verdant. Yeah, I'm going to put back a Verdant. And then try to just use this Karakas as my only white source, which plays around Massacre really well. Ooh. Okay. I still like Chalice for 0, Deafening Silence pass. So if I go turn 1 Karakas, I can't play turn 2 Fiend. But the question is, do I want to play around Massacre later on down the line by not having a Plains in play? Or do I want to make sure that I can play this Fiend Artisan on turn 2 to apply pressure? And I think the correct decision is actually just to go for Fiend Artisan turn 2. So I think we want to go for Savannah here. Let's go Chalice. Def. Just gonna get a Bayou and play the Fiend. Oh, we can even go like Fiend, and the next turn we can go Bird into like Collector Ouphe, which is pretty sweet, or Thalia. This makes me think they have a bounce spell though, for one of these. Oh, nothing. Okay. Interesting. So if I play Bird, I can go get something else. Like a Noble Hierarch, and it taps the Fiend Artisan. Surely something from my opponent. Nothing. Okay. Underground Sea. Fetch. Decay. Okay. Oh, Wasteland's pretty nice. I'm gonna go after their red mana here. See if they float anything. No float. Okay. Green, green, green. Sack this. Go and get Thalia. I could get Collector Ouphe, but I think that Chalice is already doing that job. I'd rather just be taxing my opponent. And Thalia is pretty good, because now we can also hold up Karakas and have Surgical available. Alright. Library's pretty nice. Let's go to attacks first. And then we'll tap out for the Sylvan Library, but hold up Karakas. Looks like we're going to try to bounce something here in response. Echoing Truth this. I guess I just return it. There's no point actually. I was gonna say if they draw a card off this, then I return it, but if not, I just let this happen. Hey Cypher. Fiend's been pretty fantastic. There's been some really key areas where it's really been good. Against our stream on Wednesday, he was able to find a Plague Engineer to take out a Blighted Agent and Noble Hierarch when we literally needed it. There have been some really cool plays with Renegade Rallier. We've been able to get like a Questing Beast for the win. It's been pretty solid. I haven't seen it as like bigger than a 4/4, so as a threat, it hasn't really done too much. But that was pretty rough for our opponents. They obviously bounced the Thalia when they could, but didn't really do a whole lot. Am I in a position to pay here? I can really only cast one of these, and I'd probably rather just pay for the... yeah, I'd rather pay for the land then. So let's go... Put on top, put on top. We draw the land. We play the land. I could turn this Thalia into a Prelate. No, I couldn't. I'm not there yet. I don't think that's worth it. Maybe next turn? It's close. We also have Dryad Arbor to find with this Windswept Heath, which would be pretty sweet. Ponder's okay. I'm gonna see how they shuffle. Chose not to shuffle. Okay, that's kind of scary. I think the big question is Knight or Thalia on top what we really want to see? And I think it's not. I think I'm happy just to go for Dryad Arbor here. And then if we want, we can shove it away for something else with the Fiend Artisan. Wasteland's pretty good. And there's Prelate. Okay, so that's pretty good. Put on top. I'm going to pay for this. So let's go Wasteland. I'm going to go for the green source. I'm going to play this Prelate on 4. Four turns off, Past in Flames, Massacre, Tendrils, Empty. I think just with 2 mana, naming 1 or 2 to stop bounce effects or removal just isn't good enough for my opponent. I think they need to try to win instead of dealing with 1 creature a turn. I don't think I really care about 2 because they have to, like for 2 they tap out. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So I can't even, if I rip out the deltas or the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's interesting. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They still have. Another Cabal. I'm not sure what they could have. Wish Claw's interesting. What are they Wish Clawing for? They haven't played a land yet. Yeah. I don't think they could have done anything. Because even if... They can't Massacre because we have Sanctum Prelate. And I think if we name 2, what we're doing is turning off some of their ways to get to some of their win cons. But there are other ways. Like there are, 4 rituals or 3 rituals in a row. But I think you just want to shut off the end game, which is they can't Massacre, they can't win through Tendrils, they can't win through Past in Flames, they can't win through Empty. They can't really, it kind of turns off Adnors as well because there's no real other ways to win. And with 2 mana, they have to find a 3rd land to cast a 2 mana spell like Decay or Echoing Truth. So that eats up a turn, and then we pretty much have lethal anyway on board because we can even next turn we can turn the Dryad Arbor into a Questing Beast with the land off the top, which makes it lethal if they don't bounce the Questing Beast. I guess they still take 4, but yeah, it's rough because then they're spending their removal spell on Questing Beast and not the Thalia or Prelate. So, pretty nice. I'm going to the bathroom, we're back. I'm going to go to the bathroom, I'll be back in a second. Nice. All right. On the score sheet, which is nice. Some pretty rough games, but this is what makes Magic so good. Hope you guys are well. Pretty tough spot around the world in a lot of different places. So hope you're all safe. Hope your friends and family are doing well. Going down to Snowko and Blue-Red Delver, I'm gonna say, and then up against Ant, which is nice. Ant can be pretty tough, especially on the draw. Yeah, Victoria's taking it hard. So if you are in Victoria, like I know K-Land, I don't think K-Land's here, but K-Land is from Victoria. Really good Eternal Legacy scene in Melbourne. But yeah, especially with the return rate of the virus, it's pretty rough. Doing it pretty lucky up here in Queensland, to be fair, compared to everywhere else. Interesting hand. Interesting hand. We have a few ways to draw into a fetch land or a green source, but I don't like relying on that. I mean, if we draw into a green spell, then this is a pretty bad hand. This is much better. It's only a 1-lander, but I don't mind it. We'll keep it and drop the other night. All right. A little bit risky, but oh, Llanowar Wastes, Lotus Petal, interesting. What is this? What is this? Chalice for 1? Okay. That's pretty good. It's very good. So these are turned off. I think if we get Wasteland, it's very much game over. But if this Sylvan Library can come down, then I'm going to be pretty happy. Although Chalice is turning off these 3 cards. Well, I guess Green Suns, if we draw a land, it doesn't. But yeah, Sylvan's going to be pretty Eye of Ugin. Interesting. Huh. Taking out the Eye does seem quite good here. Leaving Eldrazi with only one land. But how much do we need this Wasteland right now? How much do we need to cast this Sylvan Library? How much do we need to cast this Green Suns for, say, another bird or a Hierarch? Can you wait a turn? That's the big question. So if our opponent has Thought-Knot Seer, then they probably take the Knight, because the Swords is turned off by the Chalice. If they have a Reality Smasher, that's pretty rough. It means we really have to start digging, and we can't really because we'd be taking 10. So Sylvan Library then is kind of turned off. Yeah, very hard to beat it. I didn't think of playing the bird on turn 0. I guess because I thought we might have been against some sort of Turbo Depths variant and not Eldrazi Mimic. So I kind of wanted to keep the bird in case we needed it to like buy a turn against a Marit Lage. I think just because if we Wasteland here, we're 100% relying on drawing a land, or else it's just game anyway. So I think I'm happy actually going for Sylvan Library, where it just gives us more outs. So now they have 4 mana, so they can Thought-Knot. They probably take the Knight here, which isn't the worst, because now we're just taking 4. You know, maybe Knight isn't even an issue. Maybe if they're a build with Dismember, they don't even care about the Knight. Okay, they care about the Knight. But yeah, there's some interesting parts there. Yeah, I think the big part of why I went with Sylvan Library there is because if we missed the land drop, which we probably would have, seeing its Dryad Arbor, then it would have been tough. And this is actually pretty tough here. The Thalia is okay, but... I think here I'm probably paying 4. Huh. If it wasn't Dryad Arbor, it would be pretty solid. I think I want to keep the Knight on top, just in case of another Thought-Knot. This allows us to dig 2 more cards as well. Now the question is, do I want to Green Suns? I don't, because we know about Knight on top. I probably just want to play the Thalia to try to buy some time. They only have 2 cards left. They played a Llanowar Waste last turn, so that probably means they don't have a Soul Land in hand. So if the top 3 is Mana Source and Smasher, we just lose. We're taking 6. If we Wasteland the Eye here, best case is we take 6. We go to 6. We untap. We don't find a land. I think I'm just going for Thalia here. Thalia stops. Thalia doesn't stop too much in the scheme of things, because they can Endless One for 4. Mimic becomes a 4/4. They can Mattery Shaper. That stops it. Nothing stops it. It might just be a case of buying time with Thalia and building out Fiend Artisan as well. So maybe it is better just to play the Thalia. So now they're up to 3 cards in hand. They're paying costs for something. No. Okay. Going to attack first. This is probably fine. I'll probably just let this through. Go to 8. Pedal. Okay. Alright. Knight on top and hopefully another land. Okay. This is interesting. I can go to 4 and then go to 3. We can then take out the eye and leave them with 3 mana. Scryb Ranger is also nice because we can cast it. Tap Dryad Arbor. Return the Savannah. Untap the Dryad Arbor. Play the Savannah for turn. That gives us an extra creature. It also means we can block with the Dryad Arbor. No, we can't because we have to untap it in their turn and return a land, which doesn't work. Is Scryb Ranger here better than land? That's the big question. I don't think it is. I think what I want is the Windswept Heath because then the Knight can be a 4/4 with this Wasteland in the bin, which trades with the Dreadnought, then this Green Suns can go and find another Knight. So let's do that. Let's put this on top and pay for this. Fetch for a Bayou. Do I want the extra white mana? Alright, let's get a Bayou. Alright, just holding on. 2 cards left for my opponent. Ancient Tomb, okay. I mean, if they have Smasher, they have Smasher. Can't really play around it. They're waiting a bit, so it seems like they don't have Smasher. Plague Engineer. That's a very good card, especially in the main deck. Rough. Thalia goes, now it becomes a 3/3. You definitely attack with both, yeah. I don't even know if we have an out from this. I mean, in hindsight, the best thing was to Wasteland ourselves. Plague. Okay. Swords. Yeah, these 1-drops are just dead. And we can't even, yeah. Yeah. Rough. Did not expect this. Thalia comes out. Prelate comes out. Mum's interesting, but because Plague Engineer, I'm going to take them out. Decay seems fine. Force seems fine, especially against Chalice. Plague seems great. Ramanap seems great. Gaea is interesting. I might bring in Gaea and Thrun and see how this goes. This seems fine. Armageddon's pretty funny. They need Temple to play Smasher? Armageddon. No, I think this is all pretty good. Maybe it is the Gaea that comes out and we just go for Armageddon. Alright. Chalice on the play was really rough. Turning off Swords, Bird, and early Green Suns as well. I kind of want to play a Tabernacle if I'm playing Armageddon, but maybe that's a little bit, yeah, a little bit overkill. Plague Engineer. Ugh. I'd love to play first. Sand is okay. Turn 1 Noble, turn 2 Knight, and then we have a backup Vigor, and also Canopy to turn into a land later on, or a spell. Alright. Ancient Tomb. Spyglass. Interesting. That's gonna be okay. They probably just name Knight. They could name Wasteland if we draw into Wasteland. Okay. Is there any reason to fetch here? Makes Knight a 3/3? Yeah. Go and get a Savannah. Play the Knight. Now, Thought Knot actually isn't the worst. We do go down a card anyway, but we get to deal with the Sorcerer's Spyglass, so... see what happens here. Plague. It's pretty good. I probably do want to force here. The Noble's dead anyway because of the Plague Engineer. Draw a card first. Gaea. Yeah, if you're missing a land drop, I don't think you can attack there. Huh. I think you guys want to start taking up Gaea, to be fair. We still have a Scrubland in the deck. Let's have a Bayou. Okay. This might even entice him to start attacking. Oof, Triumph? Wasn't playing around that. Endless Sun is not the worst, because the Kai still sticks around and deals with it. But, like, I didn't want to spend a Wasteland on a 1 mana land. Rough. I probably don't even want to get Dryad Arbor here, because I'd much rather have the land drop next turn to, like, Green Suns for Night. Stupid. Thought Knot's fine. So many dead draws as well to this questing beast. Interesting. Okay. Opponent's also at 10, which is pretty interesting. What's going to happen here? Scrubland. Let's draw, okay. Once. Another Plague Engineer. Wow. Just not our day today, but that is fine. I thought 22 lands was pretty slim as well, but that's pretty interesting. That can be ticked up to 3, which is nice. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wasteland's interesting. Wasteland takes care of the tomb, which keeps them off a good amount of mana. And now I kind of have to Blaststone here first, and then play the Sylvan Safekeeper. Rough. I don't think there's anything that I can Zenith for that actually does anything. Even Zenith for Skoos leaves us with 2 mana, but then we just die anyway. We do have Engineer, but we can't find it with Green Suns because it's not a green creature. Can't even trigger Renegade Rallier, which would do it because we don't have that Wasteland still. Yeah, rough. Rough. 1-3. Far out. Terrible, terrible performance. Just hasn't lined up very well. Still a lot of I really am missing that second Sylvan Library, where it does give us a bit more power over what's on top of the deck and what we're actually drawing into, because there's been a few leagues here, or a few games at least, where we've just drawn into, you know, not really anything that establishes a board presence from our behalf. If only Plague Engineer was green. I'm sure there is a painted deck that plays it. Alright. At least we can try to finish this league with some integrity. I think the list has been fine. It's just a case of maybe having a bit more draw in here. Like another Sylvan Library would be fantastic. I'm not sure where it goes. I'm not sure if like Decay goes to the board. I'm a massive fan of Sylvan Library right now because it can't be hit by Oko. There's a lot of decks that can't really deal with it outside of like Leovold and maybe Abrupt Decay. But most of the time it sticks around and it just gives us the card advantage that Maverick needs to really perform these days. So maybe I made a mistake of going down to just 1, because you don't see it too often either. That's the big issue with Maverick. A lot of the cards that aren't Green Sun Zenith targets or none of the Reliquary targets, you just don't see. So even though it's really nice to have a main deck Prelate and, you know, Plague Engineer, without Fiend Artisan, we're not really seeing it, which is pretty rough. We don't have the sort of like Preordains and Brainstorms and other cantrips to go and find it. But yeah, there's an interesting build. That was like Black Eldrazi. Never seen that build before. Especially with a basic Swamp and like Liliana's Triumph, Plague Engineers. But yeah, Plague Engineer is pretty solid. Definitely does a pretty big house. I'm sure there's even a green-white version that you could play of Maverick with Force of Virtue, which is the pitch a white card +1/+1 effect Anthem, which does see play in some Death and Taxes builds with Squadron Hawk, but I'm not sure if Maverick has the card advantage to keep up with it. Like obviously with Squadrons you can pitch the other ones, so you're not really down on cards. Oh, looks like someone just got a trophy. Very cool. Alright. Here we go. Once Upon a Time is nice. I'm just not sure what you would cut. We've already cut a Mum, a Thalia, a Green Suns. You could probably cut another Hierarch and maybe a land, so that's room for 2. Maybe like an Abrupt Decay to the board. Maybe down on like just 1 Fiend Artisan. That's probably where you would fit it. Maybe it's even like the main deck Walkers that are just not enough. I do like once in the green-white builds. It really adds to the consistency of the deck that it already has, but Yeah, it's a case of just finding room for it, which is hard sometimes. Alright, Pepper on the play. This hand is fine. We'll keep this. Savannah into Noble. I want to go Savannah because if the mum doesn't live, I don't want to get a forest because then we can't really cast anything. Alright. Opponent on 6. Bauble. Okay. Interesting. Play Thalia and then attack for 1. Double snow-covered island. Huh. Bayou. I wonder if I just want to get Ouphe here. I'm not too sure what this deck is. Maybe if I want to get Ouphe, then I just want to play Fiend Artisan and keep the Green Suns for now. Tap like this. Ancient Tomb. Is this show and tell? Urza. That's gonna be fine. So when it ETBs, I can swords it now, which means that they can't force of will. And I want to do it now because if they create their creature, they can then tap it, I believe, for a blue, which can then pay around Thalia for force. So this is gonna be fine. And next turn we can do some pretty good shenanigans as well. Because we can Wasteland them, then we can Fiend for Collector Ouphe. I want to play this. Attack for 3. Wasteland you. I think I want to keep the Green Suns. It's interesting because the Green Suns obviously is taxed through the Thalia. So maybe it's better just to Green Suns here for Ouphe and then use Fiend Artisan to actually just grab creatures later on. Because here if I Fiend Artisan for Collector Ouphe, I get rid of the Noble Hierarch, which also puts me down a mana. Which means next turn if we draw no land, we can only Green Suns for 1 then. So I'd rather use the Green Suns. Get that Collector Ouphe. Hey, Lucky. Sadly, just hasn't been our day. It's been, yeah, pretty rough. A few games where we just haven't really been able to do anything. But there's been some pretty nice games as well. We won a match thanks to Kaya's ulti, and our opponent just not reading it and attacking a different planeswalker, which is pretty sweet. Yeah, played against some cool decks though. We played against a like black version of, what was it? It was black Eldrazi with main deck Plague Engineers. which was tough. And then we had a Knight online, and I was going after their mana. And they had a Llanowar Wastes in play, and I was like, okay, we'll play Kai this turn, use Knight to play it, and then just keep wastelanding their soul lands. And they got to untap, play an Ancient Tomb, and then Liliana's Triumph, our Knight, which is pretty rough, because otherwise, of course, it wouldn't have the black mana. But yeah, just a few little things that just have been pretty rough. So this is going to be some sort of Urza build, which is interesting. Decay seems great. Force is probably good. I wonder if this is like the combo deck. I'm not sure if like Deafening Silence or Chalice is worth it. Yeah, let's have a quick look at Goldfish. Let's go to decks, metagame. Yeah, that's pretty rough, but that is just magic sometimes. I see you're liking this 6-drop Goblin, which is very cool. Thing seems like a pretty big beast. Is it even here? Maybe it's just this. I think this is going to be the deck. So I think it's definitely worth bringing in Chalice just for 0, and then probably the these. Maybe Decay's even a bit too slow, but I know Vraska's too slow. Plague Engineer is interesting. It doesn't do a whole lot. That's really cool to hear. I love that there was all this talk about Snoop, but it was actually another Goblin that right now is just seeing a lot more play and a lot more, yeah, getting a lot more reps. I'm going to drop the Blast Zone. We have 51 seconds. Okay, I'm going to drop... Yeah, maybe the Decays are just too slow. I guess Decay on Chalice for them is pretty good, because they can Chalice on 1 pretty well and play around it. Kai is nice. Plague's going to go. Mum's going to drop. Safekeeper's going to drop. Thalia's going to drop on the draw. Hierarch's going to drop. I do like the swords. Beast is nice because it hits both Narset and Khan. It might just be a Fiend. Alright. Yeah, I'm not too sure if Mums do anything. That's a great question. Really is, yeah, they probably actually don't care about what we do, especially if Khan's going to be an out. They probably just have a bunch of colorless removal, like Walking Ballista. This is okay. I probably don't mind the Prelate, and the Skoos we can find later on, so I'm going to keep this and bottom the Skoos. So we saw a Bauble and we saw Lotus Petal, I think. It's good to be a turn 1 Khan, to be fair. Okay. That's pretty good. Find LED and maybe Echo. Is that a thing? Is this gonna happen? Liquid Metal. Okay. Can we beat this? I don't think we can. Could go fetch pass, but I'd rather just save time and play a game that I actually have a chance of winning. Thalia's pretty good. Kai is interesting. Surgical's interesting, especially if they're going for the Echo. And also Emery. I'm just gonna drop Decay. Decay seems okay, but just on the play it seems a little bit slow. Great hand, but sadly the mana isn't here. If this was a green source, I'd keep it because we have the Green Suns as well, but I think otherwise we just have to mulligan this. You keep this? Yeah, it's interesting. If we draw into a land, we can then Green Suns for a Noble Hierarch or Mana Dork. Turn 0 Chalice is pretty good. I'm just going to keep it. I'd much rather at least just show everyone why you wouldn't keep this if it doesn't work. Or maybe why you would keep it if it does work, so... Yeah, it's kind of nice to have 2 knights, because then we have one as a threat and one to throw to this force. Yeah, the upside is pretty sweet. Especially with the Chalice turning off like maybe 12 of their cards. Especially their fast starts as well. Lotus Petal. I believe they play Mox Opal. LED. Baubles. Stops Echo as well. Yeah, that's very true. Play the Waste. Play Chalice. Pass. I guess the thing is as well, the Chalice might slow them down enough for us to actually try to get a play here. I mean, like Ancient Tomb Khan here would be really good. C, interesting. Yeah, it's not going to happen. We've played this game a little bit too much tonight. There's Bayou. The question is, do I rather... I guess Green Suns for Dryad Arbor does the same thing that we want. It just doesn't give us white mana. So I could Wasteland here to keep them off a turn next turn if they just have another basic. But I guess Khan isn't really too much of an issue because we have the Force of Vigor. So maybe I don't mind just going for white mana. Yeah, I guess the big question is what am I scared of? It could be Urza, perhaps. Urza's probably a card that I'm scared of. Khan plus on Chalice is terrible. You got me. Emery? Ballista. Okay. Nice. I just like going for a mana dork here because it turns on the night next turn instead of playing the silence right now. I'd rather get make sure I get a threat online next turn. This also means if we draw into a land, we can still just go Deafening Silence and Night, which is pretty nice. And it looks like they're just going to pass here. Pretty good for us. Scryb Ranger. 2, 3. Okay. Untap this, return this. Play this. Play this. Pass. Opponent on 8 cards. Yay! We get the we get the second win. Yeah, overall the list seems solid. I mean, I dropped to 22 lands and the Dryad Arbor, and there were a few games we just flooded. And I think the big reason for that was the drop for them second library, which I did really miss. There were so many games where I just wanted that library around, especially against combo where sometimes your life total isn't too relevant, so you can just draw pretty aggressively into more hate. And just having that control on the top of your deck is so important for a pretty fair deck like Maverick to stick it against some of the other decks. Didn't even need, yeah, the force of vigor would have been pretty sweet there, but obviously just didn't need it, which is pretty nice. Thrun and Armageddon we just didn't really get to, which is pretty rough. I did want to try to see how they would go against some of the snow decks, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, Chalice on Zero seemed really good. Chalice on Zero was, yeah, very nice. And I think the nice thing about this deck is that Chalice on Zero is what Chalice is really doing. We're not really a deck that wants to use Chalice for 1 or 2. It's great that we can in this deck, but I think for us, it's a case of just having turn 1 interaction, and Chalice for 0 is great against a lot of the decks where we want turn 1 interaction, which is pretty sweet. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Fiend Artisan. I think it's done a lot for us so far. It definitely got us a few wins. The main deck Vraska over the second Abrupt Decay was interesting. It came up a few times where it was relevant. It's nice that it trades with a threat and then sticks around, unlike Abrupt Decay that is just 1 for 1. Yeah, the issue that we've been having is that against Snow, like shifting Ceratops is fine as a 4-drop, but it just gets swords. Like every time we have it, it just has swords. And against the Blue-Red Delver decks, Ceratops just gets hit by Bolt and Arcanist so many times, which is rough. So we wanted to try out Thrun, and I'm going to try it for like a good month just to see how it goes, because at least it plays around all removal. You can Karakas it in response to like a Dead of Winter if you're lucky enough to have that option. And then the regen just kind of laughs at Death Touch, which is nice. So Thrun's going to be interesting to see. It's definitely a case of really just playing it to make sure that it is viable or isn't viable, because I think on paper Thrun is just the most vanilla 4-drop compared to Questing Beast and Shifting Ceratops. But you know, maybe right now that's just what you want. Maybe you just want a hexproof threat that can regen itself and save itself, which is cool. I haven't tried Oath of Ghouls, but I do really like that build. And Sato from Brazil obviously did really well with it in the Legacy Challenge 2 weeks ago, which he did a small write-up on the Green Sun Zenith, which is cool. Oath of Ghouls is a very cool card, and obviously being an enchantment is a little bit harder for Snow to deal with outside of Abrupt Decay. You can find his write-up here. Yeah, I know that Oath has seen some pretty good times in Goblins. I've never seen it before in Maverick. But of course, Oath of Ghouls is a 2-mana enchantment. During each player's upkeep, if there are more creature cards in that player's graveyard than in target opponent's graveyard, that player may return a creature card from his or her graveyard to his or her hand, which is pretty awesome. There was another one that I believe someone was talking about. It's a similar effect, but I forgot the name of it. There was another one that someone was talking about. I don't even think it was here. No. But yeah, Oath seems pretty good. I think it's Oversold Cemetery. Maybe. Let's quickly have a look in. Yes, this is it. So it's still 1 and a black. It's still an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 4 or more creature cards in your graveyard, you may return target card from your graveyard to your hand. So it's a little bit better that it's not symmetrical, but it does mean that, yeah, it is slower and you do need a few more cards in your graveyard. I guess it is pretty sweet if you are playing Fiend Artisan, so you can actually build out the amount of cards in your graveyard. I'm sure you could play like Buried Alive and play like a really all-in deck, but yeah, we'll see how those goes. Oath is meh. Matt, you got the that's fair. But yeah, I think today we were a little bit unlucky. There were some really good matches in there, which is cool. I think Kai is still pretty good. I'm just not sold on her main deck. I was, but there have been a few times where it just isn't that relevant. There are a lot of CMC 1 or less permanents in the format, especially in game 1, but we just haven't been coming across enough to really have Kaya there, which is tough. But otherwise, I think it's a pretty super sweet deck. It's pretty hard to play around some cards like Dead of Winter. Prelate helps, but then you need Mum online. You might need Safekeeper online to keep it on the field. It's really tough. I'm going to send you guys over to the pit because that is me. But a huge thank you to you all for coming in and watching. You can find me on YouTube at YouTube/Dukes on Twitch. You can find me on Twitter at Twitter/Dukes on Twitch. You can find all my content at thegreensunzenith.com. If you want to chuck me a follow on Twitch, I would love it. It is very cool having you guys here. And of course, with the follow, it is free. And you get a little notification when I come online, which is very cool. But yeah, obviously not our day, but I think there's a lot more testing to be done with the Fiend Artisan list. And hopefully a lot more testing just from me offline, because I don't have too much time as of late to play other than just the streams, but I think it would be pretty good to get there. Hey Lucky, you're more than fine. I absolutely loved your Everyday Eternal podcast. That was very cool. If anyone is wanting to learn a little bit more about goblins, you can find Goblin Lucky 1 talking on Everyday Eternal with Julian and Callum and one more player, I believe. I always forget the last one. But yeah, it was really cool. I really liked your talk about Mog Fanatic. That was very cool. Just, I didn't really understand how good it was until those words came out of your mouth. But if you want to find it, you can find it there. That is me. A huge thank you guys. Let me quickly find the Legacy Pit. These guys, if you haven't heard of Legacy Pit before, you definitely should check them out. They do paper magic coverage, which is awesome. Keeping it alive. Even through the coronavirus, they had remote play, which is awesome. But really cool guys. Obviously keeping the format alive, which is nice. But yeah, a huge thank you once again. We'll see you next time. Thanks.